Romeo, and I thought we could make a video of what we do on a weekly basis to take care of reptiles. So I was thinking of making this video just to kind of show people who maybe want to get into reptiles, some of the responsibility it takes, because this takes a good amount of time. Every Saturday, I love my routine, but it is a good amount of work. So I thought about putting it out there, and also for you guys who've been in it longer than I have, if you guys have any tips on how I can make things more efficient, I am looking for any advice I can take. So let me just show you my routine, weekly reptile care with me and Romeo. You ready?
Yes.
All right. All right, guys, so first up is watering. So what I like to do is water heavy once a week for our bioactive enclosures. Some of them I water multiple times a week depending on their humidity requirements. But what I like to do is just kind of fill this baby up, and we put Reptisafe in it, which Romeo is going to help us out with. For those of you who don't know, Reptisafe is just kind of like a water conditioner here for all species of snakes, lizards, tortoises, turtles, amphibians, hermit crabs, and arachnids. So basically it just makes the water safe. It conditions the water, makes it safe for them. I don't see a lot of people needing to use this, but I use it just to be Reptisafe. Okay, go ahead and put some of that in there. Squeeze it a little bit. Okay, that's good. All right, and then we just fill it on up. So first up, we got Desmond's enclosure. So first thing is I dump whatever water's in the water bowls just in the bioactive enclosures. I collect all of them, and then we wash all of them, and then put them on back last. So what I like to do for these is it's easier to just take these out. These acrylic pieces for the ones that I can be able to get in here better. I'll also take this time to Windex all of the acrylic as well. But these look pretty good, so probably won't have to do that. Desmond, of course, has a human hide back here. So I also use the watering can to fill up his human hide here. And what I got there is peat moss. Yeah, so Desmond's a leopard gecko. You guys might know this enclosure from the last video I posted, which was building this. This is a dresser that got converted into a reptile enclosure. Turned out well. I plan to do an update video if you guys want to see one. But as far as right now, it's going really well. This is real moist right here, so that's somewhere he can go to. I guarantee he's back here. Which one of the updates I'm going to have on the video is to take this hide out or be able to remove it. Because that's one thing that, again, like I said, I'm no expert.
First of all, I'm not a rapper.
I'm finding different ways I can do it better. And one of them is making sure every hide that I'm making can be removed so I can get to him if I need to. So, luckily he's in good health and I got time to be able to fix that, but all right. So that is that. And Desmond, with him being a leopard gecko, with him not liking really high humidity, he's a reptile that I only do this once a week for. Just to kind of keep the plants happy, and then it's mostly dry for the rest of the time. So that's it. So that's Desmond, watering his down. So move on to the next one. So next we have Artemis, which I always have to get her out. No. Good girl. She has a pretty good feeding response, so, I always make sure to have my snake hook ready for her. Once I give her a little tap on the head, she's content. Come on, girl. I was able to hold her while I was watering her enclosure, but she's just so big now that, as you can see, We're gonna do another weighing and measuring video here soon. If you guys like, let me know. But I have to get her in. I'll show you where we put her. This is what we use for our reptile presentations. Just kind of a little container for her to go in so I could get her enclosure good to go. Watch your head there, baby. All right, let's get the water in. So I just kind of dump the water that's already in there, like I said, into the plants here. And if you guys have any tips, this plant here, I'm trying to figure it out. We are a bioactive channel, and I do know a little bit about plants, but they're more just kind of like the plants that I know will survive. And this is kind of like my experimental enclosure as far as new plants. So if you guys have any tips on getting this one back up, I got what I think is good lighting. So I'm watering once a week, and we'll see. Okay guys, next we got our boy Crazo. Crazo's our bearded dragon. Hey buddy. Good morning. So as far as watering for his enclosure, I pretty much heavily water once a week like I do the rest. And this big water bowl here, basically just dump this big water bowl. And what that does is kind of, sometimes I'll throw chia seeds in there so they'll be able to kind of grow up and he can nibble on them and give them a little bit of enrichment. And then this big water bowl, so the reason I put this big water bowl in there, some people don't put any water bowls in their bearded dragon enclosures because water-wise, they should get enough by their greens and bugs that you're giving them. But I do find when he's having trouble shedding, I do find him in here kind of like a little hot tub. So it's really cool to see him swimming, you know, and that kind of thing. So if I see him using it and he's content, and he's digging in, he's going in the water and he's liking it, I'm gonna keep it there for him. So that's kind of why we have this big water bowl in there for him. It seems to help him shed a little bit. So instead of heavy watering, I just kind of dump this big water bowl. We take it out and wash it. I also wash his food dish. So that's Crazo when it comes to watering. You want to get a close up on him? Valentina's helping me. Good morning, buddy.
Hi, Crazo.
You hungry? Yeah. Yeah.
He looks like he's hungry.
You're a good boy.
He's looking at us like, am I a good boy?
So next we have Cappuccino's enclosure. So this is a 36 by 18 enclosure, Exoterra. So here's his. So first we're gonna have the water bowl. And this is, again, there's our poor pothos. I just popped this in here, so, and it's not in there anymore. So we're just gonna take this out. No, we're not. We're gonna try and replant this. We're gonna get this guy going. So let me dig it a little deeper here. So this is why weekly maintenance is so important. And I do not do this a lot of this stuff I do way more than once a week. Like particular watering, we need like higher humidities and things like that. So we're gonna give this guy another shot. So first take the water bowl out, and then we're gonna water this up real good and get it going. So this again is another situation where like the hide is built into this custom wall I did. This is just foam that came from a desk that we bought or something, and I cannot take it out. So if I need to get Cappuccino out, I'm gonna have to just like grab in there, which he's not prone to biting at all, but it's just gonna be more stressful for him. And if I need to get him out for medical reasons, it's good not to have a hide, or to have a hide that you can take out. So anyway, so we're gonna water this one down, and that'll be our next step here. Now it's gonna look kind of floody with the little puddles, but because I'm only watering once a week, that's gonna be okay. All right, because you want enough water that's in there to take care of the plants, keep the, I got some dwarf white isopods and springtails in there, keep them good. And we're gonna try and get this pathos up. We'll get him going. All right, so that's Cappuccinos. So this here is our beautiful Tanya, the Tegu. She's a black and white Argentine Tegu. She is currently in brumation. So before anybody thinks twice or whatever, this enclosure is not her permanent enclosure. This is a 4x2x2. We got her from a friend that she was in need of a new home. So we got her in here. We got her in here so we could kind of take care of her as we can build something a little bigger for her. But sure enough, she got here right away, and she is in brumation right now, which is, you know, for those of you who don't know, reptile hibernation essentially. So kind of like Crazo's enclosure, I give her a big water bowl, and instead of heavy watering, I just use the water bowl to dump it all out once a week. Now we do give fresh water. I don't want to make it sound like I don't give them fresh water, because we do. Like, we'll go through, get the water bowls, drain them out, and everything. But as far as watering days, instead of dumping it out, I dump it into the enclosure. So but let's take a little peek at her. She is sleeping, so we won't bother her too much. You guys can get a little glimpse of little Tanya here. She's right there. She is. And then I usually just, you see her breathing right there. It's kind of like a newborn baby, where you just kind of, you freak out when they're in brumation. This is my first experience brumation, and it's like, oh my god, is she not alive? But you know, I check if she's breathing and make sure she has fresh water. If she does come out just to kind of bask really shortly, I will try and offer her a little bit of food, but she usually doesn't take it and she's content. So more videos on her later. This is her. Next are the snake racks. I like to keep the snake sheds up here just because we use them for like isopod food. We also use them for like reptile education stuff. So this is Esmeralda. A little peek at her. She's a pastel yellow belly ball python. She doesn't enjoy being handled. All reptiles got different personalities. She just doesn't like it. You know, I don't think any of the reptiles love it, but she's just one that doesn't seem to like it at all. So we just, you know, let her do her thing, keep her as a pet. We love her. We don't need to handle her as much. Here's Tangelo. He is a, gravel ball python. Take his water bowl out. Stangelo. Here's Banana. He is a citrus puma ball python. He's content. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. All right. We're just again getting all the water bowls out. And down here we have Electra, our Burmese python. Hi, baby. It's Electra. She's just a little baby yet. So we also got to water Dee Dee's enclosure. Okay. Good. So here's Boca Raton. His enclosure. Here. So I like to see where he's at first. Boca Raton is a morning gecko, a tropical house gecko. Sometimes he's under the log. He's probably in his hide over here. Let's get a look at him. Kind of turned into meeting all our reptile video, which is kind of cool too. There he is. Oh. There he is. Almost getting out. Boca Raton. Yeah, he's doing pretty good. So for him, I just spray it down with a regular water bottle. Regular spray bottle. Right here. So, and I just spray the whole thing down with this. So, I'm gonna wait for him to go into his hide because I don't want to get the... He is cool. I haven't really got to have this clear of a picture video of him. All right, so take these out and give it a good spray. So there's Boca Raton's. Time to do the dishes.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath. Long about a Saturday night. Yeah. A rub dub, just relaxing in the tub. Thinking everything was alright. Well, I stepped out the tub and put my feet on the floor. I wrapped the towel around me and I opened the door. And then a splish splash, I jumped back in.
Alright, now I pop a little Reptisave, just a couple of drops in each of these. Fill them up. And I take them to the snake racks. And I just fill all the waters back up, put them back in there, enclosures, and we are good to go. So this is why you check your water bowls all the time. It was dripping on the bottom, never noticed it. I've noticed that I thought Electra was getting in her water bowl more than often, but here I found out there's a little hole in the side. So when I fill it up past this, obviously, it's dripping out. So we're gonna get her another one. That's why you always check your stuff. Next on our weekly chores list is checking on our isopods. So first ones we have here are powder orange. So here are powder orange here. Got a good amount of these. So what I do on a weekly basis is I see what they ate. So what I give them is this Repashy morning wood here. So, and I only give them, a certain amount to where it won't mold, but and they also will have a chance to eat what I have in here. As you can see, they're eating these leaves pretty well. So, and right here, you can see a little bit of that mold growing there. So it never gets too bad if I keep it up on a weekly basis. That's about as much as it gets, is what I just pulled out there. So what I do is just kind of do that once a week. So that's done. Put some more food. Oh, you see in there? Some babies. I'm not sure if those are dwarf white isopods or baby powder orange. Either way, I'm cool with it. But there's some action in there, and that's fantastic. Eventually, I'd like to get to selling these, of course. But for right now, we're just kind of getting them where they need to be. So that's about how much I'll put in there for how many is in there. Make sure it's gone. Then the last thing is, of course, spraying it down. So the last thing is spraying them down here. Get the humidity up. I keep them in a dark area that we have storage. I spray a little more on this moist side where this spring moss is. That's it for them. Powder orange done. Next we have the magic potion. So we'll check for any. Here are the magic potions. These tend to hide more in the moss and stuff here. You can see, maybe see one right there. So they tend to hang out in here more than under the bark, I've found. You see here, there's a little bit more of this to kind of clean out. And I'm assuming, and maybe someone out there that's a little more experienced with isopod keeping than I am can say that this is, I mean, I'd assume this little bit of mold is somewhat normal, especially with keeping a more humid environment. But it's never anything that takes more than a few seconds and it doesn't get out of control. So this is just kind of how I do things right now. Again, you can see they're eating this. So they're eating, they're lively. And hopefully we can get some more babies out of this stuff. So again, so this is a weekly video. I wanted to show you, I didn't want to keep it to just reptiles because I just want to kind of show you guys what I do as an individual keeper of everything we have once a week. And like I said, a lot of this stuff is going to be more than once a week that I do. But this is just kind of where everything falls under. Look at that guy's already hungry. No? Okay. All right. So that's about a good amount of food there. Another spray down. Magic potions are good to go. And last but definitely not least, the white pigeons. So this is a cubrious isopod. These are pride and joys. I mean, we love all of them. But, however, these are the highest price.
Help me, I'm poor. No, listen.
So, I'm going to take equal amount of loving care, but, woo, and not overfeed them. Okay. Yeah, these are white pigeons. I did see some little babies in here the other day, so that was real promising. And the fact that they're eating well, and I can see them eating the leaves and everything, it seems like they're doing well. So I'm just going to keep the routine that I have. I don't see any mold in this one. There we go. So that's for isopod keeping once a week. Now we are on to feeding. So what I have for our boy Crazo today is collard greens here. So, I'm sorry, I think these are turnip greens. What kind of greens are these? Hold on. Collard greens with some bee pollen to top it off with. Since he's bougie.
I'm a savage, yeah. Classy, bougie, ratchet.
And look at it for a while. Give me some dirty looks because they're not bugs. And he'll probably eat it when I walk away. Let's see if he'll take one. Want it? Come on. Come on. Come on. You want it? Okay. Like I said, he'll probably eat it later. He does eat his greens. He just doesn't like me to know about it. So we'll leave him to it. But that's Crazo for today. Like I said, it's about, I'd say 5 days a week he gets salad. 2 days a week, a good amount of bugs. However, throughout the week, if we do like some training or something, he'll get some worms. Some super worms or something like that. But yeah, that's Crazo. Use salad. Alright, so what we also do is feed our feeders. So these are both of our dubia roach bins here. If you guys would like to see a video on how to make these, I'd be happy to do that. Let me know down in the comments. But these are, we breed our own dubias here. So they're freshly gut loaded with fresh vegetables, fruits and vegetables. We just spray them on down. So I just, a lot of times we'll use scraps from food, other stuff that we're not using, throw it in here as far as like what's healthy for them, of course. So we keep them on a fresh diet so we can feed them to our animals. So this is part of my weekly routine too. And this isn't just once a week. I'll probably throw in fresh food every 3 days or check if what's not eaten, but we kind of go from there. So that's them. Gotta feed our feeders. So here are our dwarf white and springtail cultures. So we sell these at expos and things like that, or whoever needs them and knows that I sell them. So I spray these down once a week as well. And I just have the food in there are the same thing. I throw fresh carrot in there, greens. I'll switch it up. I found out that they love asparagus and banana peels are their two favorite things. And I'd like to do a video on how to experiment, like what isopods love more. I think that'd be cool too. So yeah, these are dwarf whites. They've been doing great for a very long time. See, they're going at the carrot there. More guys in here. So yeah, great cleanup crews. They're in all our enclosures. So that's part of my routine too. Doesn't stop there. So our insectivores are going to be Boca Raton and Desmond. So for Boca Raton, I just grabbed some little ones that he can have. I always feel like when I go to pick out dubias, it's like that scene from Toy Story with the little aliens and I'm the claw.
I have been chosen.
So there we go. We got 3 of those. I give him 3 at a time. I've been feeding him every day because he was very little. However, I may change that to every 3 days or so because he is actually gaining some weight and stuff. Visually anyway, he's getting bigger. Just pop that in here. I usually catch him on the wall. He knows where his food bowl is, aiming at that, and they're gone the next day. And that's it. So there's Boca Raton. That's what he's eating. So next we have our giant mealworm enclosure. Or just kind of bin. I don't know if it's exactly an enclosure or not. But the way, first off, because Desmond is so picky, and of course he's aware that we have an entire dubia roach colony, he chooses to only like mealworms to eat. So I got one of these together. So I've done this before, and the only thing different that I did this time, I stopped doing it because I was dealing with oat mites, and they were terrible. I hated them. If any of you have had them, you know what I'm talking about. But what I did this time was I baked all of the oats at 200 degrees for a half an hour, and I do not see any oat mites yet. This is a relatively new bin that I put together. We're already seeing some pupa here. You can see there. So that's the second stage. Well, there's eggs, then there's mealworms, pupa, and then you get the beetles. And unlike superworms, they can be all of them together in one time. Superworms, you have to separate the pupa because they'll eat each other. It's just a lot more difficult. And I've found that giant mealworms get a relatively the same size as superworms. But if you can also get babies for mealworms in here, so if you need something that needs the size of a regular mealworm, you have them at all sizes. So I found it to be a lot easier to just jump into giant mealworms. And from what I've done and researched, they're pretty equal in nutritional value. They get the job done. So I pick out a couple for Desmond, and then what I do is refill their water crystals here. And if you can't see, there's a little dish. Little dish in the middle here. It has little grooves on the side, so I just kind of put them in the side there. And I just pour some water. Water crystals are the best when it comes to this kind of stuff because they just kind of form up. I don't have to water it every day. I don't have to provide anything. They aren't going to drown in it. The cotton in here are for when the beetles, when they turn into beetles, they go into the cotton, and it's interesting because they'll take this and they'll break it apart and it'll be like all over. And I can show you guys an updated video on that when we get there. But this is so they lay their eggs inside of this, and that's how they kind of get the whole production started. So that's what I do for them. I usually just fill this water dish once a week or refill it with crystals, and they seem to do pretty well. So that is our giant mealworm container. So now we'll feed Desmond. We're also going to dust the bugs with this calcium today. We also dust them with calcium with vitamin D3. So we do the D3 every third feeding, but we do offer the calcium and at least lightly dust them every time. So let's get to feeding. All right, so I do try and feed him at night because that's usually when he's gonna be eating out in the wild. So let's see if we can get him out here. All right, well, if this happens and he doesn't want to come out, and sometimes he just doesn't want to eat, I just wait till the next day. So, all right, no Desmond today. Okay, So that's another thing, guys, is reptiles are not going to go off of your schedule. They're going to go off of theirs. So I'm just going to have to try again tomorrow, add it to my schedule, and just see how it goes. We're on their time, they're not on ours. Now we're going to feed our boy Dee and his Rosies. Because like his little castle. Just kind of toss that in there from our daughter's tank that we changed up. So first we got, he likes to take a nibble at all the fish food first. However, we do not feed him the fish food. We have this goldfish flakes for the Rosies and this aquatic turtle food here. So I just kind of give him a bunch there. And then when he realizes there's actual food for him, he'll go for the pellets. The Rosies are pretty much for decoration because he's too lazy to actually hunt for them. However, if one of them ends up dying or something, he will eat it then, so he kind of keeps the tank clean that way. But they're in there just to kind of look at too. I like having them in there. That's Dee. You'll find the rest of the pellets. Here he comes. So I don't feed him every day either. I'll feed him every 3 days. I'll give him some pellets, and then we'll also, if there's dubia roaches that are die from old age, because we've had them long enough now, or one of them pass away, we'll throw them in here, and I'll also just give him worms. Like tonight, actually, that Dee or Desmond didn't eat. I'll probably give him those. But I don't like to throw those in there till he's already eaten his pellets, so we're not going to do that tonight. I don't want to overfeed him. But it's kind of part of our routine. You just kind of make the best of what you got and adapt to what you're doing. Come on, bro. There you go. There's Dee. Hey guys, quick disclaimer. We're going to be feeding frozen thawed rodents next. So for those of you maybe a little squeamish around it, just a heads up, snakes got to eat too. Okay. So who you guys are going to be able to see eat today are Tangelo and Electra. We have a medium rat for Tangelo, and then we have a small rat for Electra, who is our small Burmese python. So Tangelo's eating every 10 days. However, if he goes off food, then I change it up to once a week, just until we can kind of get him, to keep him where he's at. Electra is on a small rat every 10 days as well. So we're gonna let these sit for an hour and let the scent build up here. As you can see, just from Electra's already interested. So it's already working. So we're gonna let that sit for an hour. Let them kind of get the scent, get their food drive up a little bit, and we'll give it a go. So we'll see you in an hour. First, we are going to feed Electra. She's always had a good feeding response. Here you go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Good girl. Awesome. Yep, great eater. There she goes. It's Electra. Now we're gonna try Tangelo. It's right here. Let's hope he eats. A lot of you snake owners know this feeling of, I hope they eat. Let's see. I'm backing away. He's not feeling too good about it. Nope. He's backing away. So if they're not immediately going for it, it's usually telling me that he's not gonna have it right now. And I don't want to associate a rat with stress, because if you just keep pushing it into his face multiple times, it's just not gonna help anybody. So what I'm gonna do now is I'll wait 5 days and try again. So I'll give him 5 more days. From what I've known, what I've done as far as my research, trying to feed them every day, even when they need to, is just gonna more stress them out, rather than I'm assuming it lets them build up a little hunger. I don't know. I just know if I wait 5 days, usually there's a better chance that they'll eat. So we'll try in 5 days. Still love you. So now you guys will experience the beauty of having a boa. So if one of our ball pythons do not eat, when in doubt, Artemis hooks us up. So I just toss it in here. Woo! So her feeding response is always the fastest out of all the animals we have. That's the beauty of having a boa. She never skips a meal, and she always eats. So we never waste a rat. So no rat is uneaten. And then I just adjust, instead of a large rat once a month that we do for her, we will do just a second medium rat instead of a large, maybe, just to kind of adjust so she's not being overfed. So that's her. So let me see if I can get a time lapse for you guys. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. It was a lot of fun to make. I hope you guys might have learned some things. I would like to learn some things from you experts out there that have done things a little longer than I have, because there's always more to learn, and I'm always trying to find new and better ways to do things. So go ahead and don't forget to like and subscribe. Throw a comment down below on what you thought. And if there was any videos today that you would like to see an individual video of, whether it's like the dubia roach colonies, the mealworms, or whatever you guys want to see, I want to know from you guys. So thank you so much. The channel is growing. I'm so excited about it. So thank you again. We do have a Patreon if you're interested for only $1. Thank you so much, guys, and we'll see you next time.